Hello and welcome to Open Office, the first one of 2025. It's January 9th, and I think we'll give people a minute or two to hop on. A lot of times we don't have individuals come on. Sometimes they send me messages asking me to cover something, sometimes they don't. Sometimes we get a person on or two people on. I'm sure as the community grows, there'll be times that we get more individuals on here with us. But for now, a lot of times it's just me, and that's okay. I added a desk in my office and I can see it over here, and it kind of annoys me. Get out of the way. That's better. I don't mind the desk, but I hate it when I can see a mess in my camera. It sort of bothers me. It's not really a mess either. It's like a stack of magazines and a notebook, but I don't want to see it back there. So I might have to slide my desk over when I finish rearranging. I had to add some workspace in here because my little single desk, I was trying to keep my office minimalistic because my other office in my house is pretty huge and has lots of work areas and lots of places for me to stack piles, which in multiple businesses I frequently have. But I digress. We're giving people a couple minutes to hop on. And I didn't have a topic today. I canceled the last one of 2024 and what would have been the first one of 2025 because I was trying to enjoy some time off. And I did have a topic scheduled for one of those days. I don't remember what it was now. I'd have to go look. But I think because we are starting a new year, I'm going to go over profit first again, or my profit first spreadsheet. And while I don't use the full version of profit first in all of my businesses, I do use them in all of my real estate businesses. All of like there's a bunch of them, there's two. Um, so that um so that the money that comes into the business gets distributed in a way that makes sure that it's being used to grow the business and make sure it's profitable, as well as to make sure that when I'm doing like budgeting and financial planning, as well as goal setting in the financial aspect of the businesses, that I have really good data to look at to make decisions about the future on. And I think that that's important. So that's what we will talk about today. And I'll give another minute or so, see if anybody hops on. While I do that, I'm gonna pick my sharing screen to share with you. And I might try to figure out how to use a whiteboard in here. Maybe not. We'll see. I know I can write on this screen, I think. Yes, I can. Very cool. Okay. Well, that just looks crazy now. There. Okay. Well, we'll see if that works anyhow. But anyway, so we're going to talk about this spreadsheet today during this time, and I'm going to turn off that part and then do this. And I need to do this because I haven't updated the spreadsheet that I use for a sample since I changed brokerages. But no, it's all better. Getting a message. Who's hopping on? Anybody? Well, now that it's 2:06, we'll go ahead and get started, and we will talk about using profit first with our real estate commissions. And what is the purpose of profit first might be your question. I don't know if you've read the book, if you're familiar with profit first or not. But profit first essentially is a way to make sure you're paying yourself first instead of last out of your businesses, and to make sure that the money coming into your business is being split up and used in a positive revenue stream, in a positive profit world, because the goal of business is typically profit. It's typically to, make enough money to live on, survive, become financially independent. Different people have different goals. My real estate business specifically is meant for a couple things. It started out as strictly for additional income for uh, charitable contributions and things like that, and sponsoring community programs. I have since edited that slightly in order to continue to grow my retirement and my investment accounts. But it is still very heavily uh, allocated towards charitable contributions and community sponsorship. So let's talk about first how we decide one thing on this list, and that is the owner's pay. Now, different people have different needs. These percentages I have here are really they're not mine. I just put them on here. Okay. So they're just for example purposes. But in order to be able to come up with the percentages that you need on this spreadsheet so that when you get your commission, you know exactly how much you're going to put in each of these accounts, because in Profit First, each of these lines is its own bank account. So I don't know if you have like one of those bank accounts that have like the buckets. I think it's Ally Bank that does that, or where you can just have multiple savings accounts or multiple whatever accounts. I know a lot of them are really simple, fast and simple to create a new account once you have your account set up in them. I like to use Marcus, which is by Goldman Sachs for this. I also have used Ally for this. Your credit union can be used for this. I prefer ones that have higher interest. So my credit union is where my commission check gets deposited. So that would be the one that I use for operating expenses. And that is not the way Profit First is to do it. Profit First has one account that the money goes into and then you disperse it all. I use the account that it's deposited into as my operating expenses account, which you just have to do what works for you, right? So each of these is its own account. Technically, this would be the total income would be the account that all of it's deposited into. I personally do not do it that way, but that's completely up to you. So the first thing that you need to figure out when you decide I'm going to use Profit First for my commission income is how much money do I personally need to pay myself in order to make sure that my household bills and needs are met. So in order to do that, you're going to need to sit down and go over your personal needs and bills. And sometimes that can feel frustrating. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming, especially if it's not something you've ever done. If you've always just taken your paycheck, whether you've been in real estate for a long time or real estate is new for you, whatever income you've had coming in, you've just put into your bank account, paid your bills, and went on with your day. Being a real estate agent is a little bit different in the fact that you are a business on your own, like you just are, whether you are a broker and have an actual business organization, or if you are a sole proprietor and you are a real estate agent at a brokerage and you just get paid like, hi, I'm Tracy and I get paid as Tracy. I recently got my broker's license and I now get paid as an LLC, and then I pay myself out of that, but I still use the same spreadsheet or a similar one. I don't use these percentages, but I use the same type of spreadsheet to split that income up and deposit it into different accounts to use for the various things that it needs. So back to figuring out what you need for your household necessities, bills, making sure that you are able to survive financially. And this could look very different for everybody, depending on how much real estate business you do, if you have other income coming in. So I'm just going to do this and make a quick list of things that you might need to figure out before you can figure out your percentages. So if you have a mortgage payment or a rent payment, you have utilities, you probably have, well, I mean, your utilities can include your internet, maybe you have streaming or you need groceries. I can type today. Maybe you have someone in college, maybe you have a child in college, so you have tuition, you have a car payment, you have gas. And while, yes, you claim your mileage as a real estate agent, you should be tracking that and claiming it as mileage. You probably aren't using all of your gas for your real estate business. So you really want to make sure gas is one of your personal expenses. You have insurance costs, you have medical bills, medical expenses, um, clothing, maybe you have daycare, you know. So these are the things that you need money for. So let's just put some random numbers in here. I'm really making this up. A month would be what, about 750? I have no idea what you spend on these things a month. Tuition a month, what's that, about $600 a month? A car payment now runs about $1,000 a month. We'll go 900. Gas is, I fill up what, 3 times a month, probably, maybe four. Go 200, and we'll go 250. Insurance, I don't know about you, but my insurance costs are pretty high right now. I pay by the year, so I don't always know how much it is a month. Let me figure that out real quick because I like the points on my credit card, the rebates I get, so I pay in full. That's another financial trick if you haven't learned it yet. If your insurance company doesn't charge you a fee to use your credit card and you have a rewards card, pay your insurance in full on the credit card if you have the funds to pay it off, because the rewards on that credit card will be beneficial. Um, Insurance is about $920 a month. Our medical expenses are not this much, but I'm putting my medical insurance in here. So my medical insurance is actually like a month. I should probably figure that out a month. 1,900 a month, I think. Clothing, I don't know if you spend that much. Daycare, I know, is really expensive. Okay, so say these are your bills. I have no idea if these are accurate. I literally just like whatever, pulled some numbers out of thin air for that. But say this are your numbers. So if they are, if this is what your numbers look like, then you are going to need a significant amount of money. Don't want this. You want this back. I have no idea if you can see me popping around all these things looking crazy over here, but I think you can just see the one page that I'm showing you. There we go. Took me a minute to get my calculator to pop up on the screen for me. So, let's if I type the right numbers. 750, 600, 900, 250, 920, 1900, 300, 3500. $11,570 a month. So say that's your number. You need $11,570 a month. I don't know why this thing doesn't allow me to choose it again once I have changed it. Don't mind me just talking to myself. If you've been on a few of these, you know that that's what happens. This is really irritating. I don't know if I like this feature on here or not. Good enough. Okay, so you need $11,570 a month. So you need to figure out after that, like what percentage of the number of sales that you're doing will give you $11,570 a month. I don't need that much out of my real estate income because I have a full-time income elsewhere. So real estate is different for me, but you need to know how much you need a month so that you know how much out of each of your commission checks you need to give to yourself as owner's pay. The other thing that's important to take out first, highly is your taxes because you want to make sure that when you get to the end of the tax year, that you, like right now, while you're preparing for your taxes right now, that you have the funds you need to pay your self-employment taxes, especially if you are not paying them through quarterly, which I highly recommend paying them quarterly because that way you don't have to, figure out how you don't have to keep saving all year for that. You're paying them throughout. Also, I don't know what state you're in, but in Michigan, if your self-employment taxes are too high and you don't pay quarterly, they will fine you. At least the last time I had that happen, and the reason I had it happen was for a different reason than I wasn't paying quarterly because I pay quarterly, but it was a fluke at the last quarter of the year that increased my self-employment income immensely, and put me over that threshold. So you need to figure out what percent you're going to save for taxes. 20 to 25% is usually a good starting point. And then as your year goes on, if you find that you are earning way more than you thought you would, increase that, or using the percentage from the year before is good also. Um, so you want to figure out those percentages. So if you have your taxes at 25% and say you have your owner's pay at 25%, maybe you need more of your commission for owner's pay. Maybe you're not doing as many sales as you thought, so you need 50% of that. So now you're at 50, 60, 75%. So you only have 25% to use for the rest of these. Okay. Your operating expenses, that's going to be like your signs or your marketing, your MLS, your board, fees you maybe you pay a technology fee to your brokerage or a desk fee or um, pop buys, if you do pop buys, holiday cards, printing, business cards, whatever expenses you have, maybe a lead source, that is what's going to come out of here. So the higher that your owner's pay has to be out of your income, the lower you have for the other things. The higher your taxes have to be for your out of your commission, the lower your other things have to be or can be. So I'm going to change this back to 25% because I don't really want 50% of my commission coming to my owner's pay. So now I have 25 and 50, and operating expenses are 35 is a good number. We'll go with 25 so that we have 75%. So we have 25, 50, 75. So we've got 25% left, and we've got 10, 15, we've got 20, 20. So let's increase our profit today. We'll make that one 15. We want a higher profit. Actually, no, let's leave that one 10 right now. And then we're actually going to change stocks to 10. Normally this account doesn't exist. So in real profit first, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 accounts. I use 6 accounts because of my donations and my stocks. And and because my operating expenses and the account the income account, which is what it's called in Profit First, I use as a single account. Otherwise, I would have 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I'd have 7. So the way I do it, you'd have 7 accounts if you followed Profit First exactly. But if you followed Profit First exactly, you'd really only have 5. So I just split it up more. So let's see. I've got 10. So I've got 5. Okay. So right now I have it set up for the charitable donations at 5%. In reality, mine is more like probably 60%. And then my other ones are just lower depending on what I am doing with the funds. So 25, 50, 75, 85, 95. So I have 100% now. And the reason that I changed those in here wasn't just to change them for the fun of it. It's because if you request this spreadsheet and you have it sitting in front of you and these percentages are not right for you, and you can take a line out if you want, if you don't want charitable donations or you're not going to do stocks. In our brokerage, we can choose to have part of our commission automatically buy stocks at a discount. So that's what I do. That's just another form of investment for me. But if you do not take that line out. If you don't want to do charitable donations, take that line out and then adjust your percentages to match what you need. Whether you need 50% of the owner's pay or 50% of your commission is your owner's pay or 100%, maybe you have to start out with 100%. But the nice thing about doing it this way also is that if you want to have a profit account, which you can use to invest back into your business. You can use it for maybe vacations. You can use it for investing for retirement. There's whatever you want to use your profit account for. This is your business. Your owner's pay is going to be to pay your home bills. Your taxes are going to be to pay your taxes. Your operating expenses are going to be to use to grow your business or to fund your business. So marketing and the expenses that come with having your business, like your MLS fees and your board membership and whatever else you choose to use for operating expenses or spend operating expense money on. Okay, so once you've changed those, if you're using this pre-made spreadsheet, what you're going to have to do is you are going to have to change the actually, you don't have to. I set it up so you don't have to. Right? Pardon me while my brain processes what it's been doing today. Have you ever had one of those days? Yeah, it does. Okay. So the reason that I wanted you to see that is so you could see how it changes that. For some reason, I thought this was the old one. My old one, you had to actually change it. But I remember that I created it differently when I set it back up for my full-time use. So once you've got these percentages all changed to what you want them to be on, I don't put the charity donations into a separate account currently. I keep that with my operating expenses, but it's beneficial to put them in a different account, especially if you're not good at like the tracking process in an accounting system or on a spreadsheet. Once you have moved the money there, you know what your budget is because once it's gone, and while it's there, it's there. So that does help having them in different accounts because you know, like, oh, I have this much money in my owner's pay account, or I have this much money in my profit account, or I can spend this much more on operating expenses for the month, or whatever the case may be. All right. So once you've got your percentages figured out, you figured out what to pay yourself. So you're ready to start tracking your sales. So you see the one in here. It's still from 2024 because this is my 24, spreadsheet, but I just, you just add 25, you just copy this, make a new one. So this is 2025. You sold a house that was listed at $360,000 for $356,350. Your commission is $10,690. And then here is after your splits. I don't even know if these numbers are right. It doesn't really matter. But then it takes this amount after your splits, the amount that you're getting deposited to your income account, and it splits it up for you. So let's do another one. So we have a house that's listed at $125,000. We are the buy side. See, this is the list side. So I have these color coded things here because I like at the end of the year to just quickly take a peek and quickly take a peek and see that, what the heck am I doing? find the right color that I used. There we go. So I like to be able to quickly take a peek and see how many sell side, how many buy side, how many dual agent or paperwork I did, because it's not always a dual agent. Sometimes you're just filling out the paperwork for the buy side, right? So this one will be the buy side, and we'll do this one. We're going to sell a lot of houses on Main Street this year. I just put the closing date and I put the address. And so we're getting our buyers a great deal on this house, and we're selling it for 500,000. And the thing I like about this also is that it tells me like what percentage my what percentage I'm selling the houses for. So like if I'm the list side, I can easily look at all my green ones and say, wow, I have like a good 99% sales rate. And if I'm looking at the buy side, I can be like, man, I save my clients about 20% on average, right? So that is just a little add-on I put down here at the bottom for my own personal use, but I find it to be very useful. If you don't like it, you can take it off there. I don't care. It's your spreadsheet once you get the copy of it, right? So I just put that in the wrong spot, but that's okay. So your commission is $15,000 on this $500,000 house. My new spreadsheet, I haven't done it on this sample one, but on my new spreadsheet, I actually have the formulas in these, so they automatically figure it out for me. So I'm going to quickly do that. So we'll say you're at a 18 or 1585 split. I don't know what your split is. You'll have to figure that part out. So your commission on this sale is going to be $12,500, $12,750. I can read numbers today too, you guys. Come on. Today's one of those days I just feel like super tired today. Not like super tired, but sort of like out of it. You know, you ever have those days? I'm glad the sun is shining today though. Anyhow, back to what we're talking about. So your commission on this sale that you're helping your buyer get a great deal on is $12,750. And your profit, if you want your profit at 10%, you're putting $1,275 in your profit account. You're putting $3,187.50 in your owner's pay account. So you're sending that over to your personal account to pay yourself. You bought $1,275 worth of stocks if you're doing stocks at 10%. If you're not doing stocks at 10%, change that to 5% maybe. Maybe you change this one to 10% and then it changes it, right? It automatically will change that for you if you change those percentages. So you only bought $637.50 in stocks. You've put $3,187.50 in your tax account. You've put $3,187.50 in your operating expense account, because I have a lot of these the same, so it's all the same. And then you have your charitable donations account. You've added $1,275 to. And you will notice, if you look over here at the end at the totals, that it's tallying all this up for you as well. Now, when you add more lines to this and say you're on transaction 27 or whatever, you're going to have to make sure that you change these formulas to include those additional lines. Otherwise, the formulas should work. I mean, you'll have to add them to your new columns. When you add your columns, you'll have to copy and paste these over and make sure that they copy and paste correctly, because a lot of times when you copy and paste, it will change this to like, what's it be? It'll change it to like C4 and then D4 and then E4. So you want to make sure you change it back to B4 so that it's using the percentage to figure out the amounts you should be putting in those. So that is the quick rundown of using profit first with your real estate commission income. And if you are, say, a new agent, or maybe this is your sole income and you do not, like you're starting off at a slow year and you don't have a lot of personal savings saved up for you to survive on while your year gets going, You might have to adjust this. So maybe you start off with this being 50%, and then you've reached a point now where you have had a good year so far and your income is really high. Maybe then you change it. I recommend that if you do that, that you put in a line. So you add a column, and then you copy this line into this line. Okay, don't do it that way because it doesn't want to do it that way. And then you change these to use the new numbers. So like here, you might have 50%, and you might have 5%, and you might have 5%. Let's see if I can get this right. 50, 20, 30, 45, 50. Okay, so 15. All right, so here you've got these because you need 50% of your commission coming in at 50%. Well, now it's, partway through the year and you have sold a ton of houses at a good price. So you have managed to build up your personal savings account where you don't need, or your personal owner's pay account. So you're not needing 50% of what you bring in anymore because you have built that up by putting 50% of what you've earned in there. Now you can change it down to the 25% or the 30% or whatever. But if you do that, I recommend adding a line and then altering these formulas to match this line to make sure that you can easily look back and say, I put these amounts in there. And then that way it'll help make sure that your totals over here are also accurate. And since there's nobody to ask me questions about this. I literally use this exact spreadsheet. I mean, I change the percentages and whatever. And then I create new tabs at the bottom. See, I changed it. Haven't changed it for this year. This is just the sample one that I send out when people say, hey, I want that spreadsheet that you use. And you just take it, make a copy of it in your Google Docs, in your Google Sheets, and then you can edit it however you need to. You can take off some of these lines or add more lines. Maybe you want to split it up into 10 accounts. I don't know. The profit first is 5 though. So profit first is 5 accounts. So you've got your income account, which is where the money comes in, your profit account, your owner's pay, your taxes, and your operating expenses. So those are the 5 accounts. Don't quote me on that. I feel like I messed those up. But anyway, those are the 5 accounts that Profit First uses. Like I said, I adjusted it to fit my needs in my real estate business. And again, because I have income elsewhere, my owner's pay is not going to be the same as yours. So my keyboard's not working all of a sudden anyway. That's so weird. My keyboard just quit on me. Guess I need to charge it. Anyway, so I would just change my percentages to be significantly lower because I don't take much of my real estate income to use personally. I do take some of it so that I have some, expendable income waiting to be used for things like gift giving or, unexpected expenses that I didn't plan for. I usually plan pretty well for expenses. I'm fortunate in that way that I can do that. And real estate is my part-time work. I do it to amplify my financial freedom and to improve things in my life. I don't do it as my sole source of income. And so that makes my use of this a little different than what your use will be if this is your primary income source. So yeah, I hope that this helps you budget, helps you organize your finances from your real estate income. If you see this and you're like, hey, like this is cool, but I don't have any idea how to do this or what I'm doing, and it doesn't really make sense because listen, Tracy, you talk way too fast and you go through this way too fast, which I hear frequently. Um, when I have an audience or I have people here asking me questions and stuff, I do much better at slowing down. I was a classroom teacher. I taught middle school. I've taught elementary school. And I find that without a physical or digital audience there to focus me, that I literally just zoom through it at the pace that my brain zooms through things. And I don't ever want someone who's watching one of my videos to say, holy cow, like she does things so fast, I can't get it, I can't do this. Don't ever think that. um, let's get in touch. If you see this and you're like, whoa, too fast, get in touch with me. We'll hop on a one on one. If you're local, we can meet in person and we can go over it. And I promise I can do that slower paced than I do in these videos. Huh, wonder if that delivery's for me. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope that you found this helpful. If you want this spreadsheet, I'll put the link in here and hopefully it works. If not, you can reach out and I can send it to you directly. So I hope that you have a great day, and I'm going to figure out how to stop this recording. Have a great day, and I hope to see you next Thursday at 2 p.m. for open office hours with Tracy with Communicate Agents. Have a good one.